Hey friends, welcome. Now, the common wisdom advice about making video is that I should just get right into the content and skip all the niceties and hellos. And I just, in my heart, cannot dive into it without giving you a warm, huge welcome. Seriously, from my whole heart, welcome to this live stream. So if you're tuning in live, please put a thumbs up in the comments. And also, if you can hear me and see me, please do that. And I know I shouldn't be saying these things. However, the other day, I went on a live stream in the Kawaii Drawing Club and I was muted. So I'm gonna, learn from my lessons. And even if that goes against the algorithm, blah, 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 welcome, welcome, welcome. Laura, I see you. Alicia, I see you. So awesome. We're going to talk about consistency today. Consistency. Oh my goodness. Just that word feels like a porcupine because I know how hard it is. I know how hard it is. If this resonates with you, let me know. Let me know in the comments. However, my intent is that by the end of this video, by the end of this experience, conversation, consistency will no longer feel heavy, and for me as well. This whole topic was inspired by our Kawaii Drawing Club member, an OG member, Cynthia Dixon. She posted something in the community. She just posted a question, and in that question she said, I'm reflecting on art consistency, and this is what she called it, art consistency. And I'm wondering, should I be doing it? Is it a thing? How to do it? It was a sentence that she posted. And to me, that has been such a huge thing that I've been working on, getting consistent with content, with publishing, with doing art. Literally 99% of my effort is in consistency. And so I replied to her in the comments with an essay on about having a consistent habit and all that stuff, and showing up. And then she replied back to me with, I was I think we got into a discussion of I was saying, your art evolves and you're unique and you're always doing different things. And she replied to me saying, but I was actually talking about the art practice consistency. And it was like a lightning bolt moment, because just that one word makes all the difference. So art consistency versus art practice consistency. So that was, maybe 2 weeks ago or a week and a half ago that we had this conversation. And ever since then, I've been thinking, processing, reflecting, writing notes about it. We kept commenting on that thread. It turned into this huge discussion that members have joined into. Because, consistency is pretty much what gets you successful in anything you do. As a parent right now, I know how important it is that my children show up to their classes, to their, they're doing Kung Fu, so make sure that they keep going even when they don't feel like it, without forcing them, no way, but with holding space and just enabling them to show up consistently. And to myself, show up to my art practice. So today I wanted to really dive into the difference between visual consistency and consistency of art practice. You ready? So I'll have a look at the comments. Alicia says, I struggle keeping consistent, but also trying new things that are very different. Love that. We're going to totally address that. Angela, good to see you. I hear you loud and clear. Perfection. Awesome. Thanks for letting me know. So it's okay. Visual consistency, super duper simple. It's your art style. It's the thing that I'm going to say almost every artist strives to arrive at. Do you agree? Have you like considered that? Have you thought that? And it's like this seductive thing that feels like, if only I can get consistent, everything, if only I can get visually consistent, everything else will just fall in place. And that's actually true. And at the very end, I'm gonna wrap this point. It's actually true. However, imagine you had to eat potatoes every day, 3 times a day. Let's not take potatoes. Let's take something ultra super duper healthy. I don't know, kale. Imagine you had to have a kale smoothie every day for the rest of your life. And it's so healthy for you. It gives you all the vitamins and minerals, and all that stuff. And what kind of life are you having? Are you living a full life? Are you having a full life experience? Or not? Or spirulina, like try drinking spirulina every single day. Like that's crazy, right? So here's the thing. Visual consistency, right? Visual art consistency is basically elements like your outline style, your color palette, your choice of characters, themes, let's see, themes, characters, color, outline style. Yeah, I mean, it's basically what makes up the visual expression of your art. And probably most of the artists you admire have that visual consistency. Now, let's talk about practice consistency. Like, leave it at that. So here's my point about the visual consistency. Now we know what it is. We know it's desirable. We know that we struggle to get there, and why? Why do we struggle with it so much? Why can't we just decide, I'm gonna use black color and I'm gonna use a black outline, and I'm gonna use these 3 colors, and that's it. That's gonna be my art style. Why do we struggle with this? The same reason why we struggle to have a kale smoothie 3 times a day, right? We want variety. Our being always wants to become more complex. So you probably know about the concept of the flow, right? When the activity is easy. So it's complexity versus, gosh, I don't even remember. But the point is that, so high complexity and high competency. Okay, so when you have an activity that is easy and you're very competent in it, you have a lot of skill, you get bored. When you have an activity that is very difficult and you have low competency in it, you will get stressed. Okay, so the flow, the state of being when you're like, yes, the time disappears and you're like in the flow, in the zone. This is when the task is pretty complex and your competency matches the task. And guess what? Like plants outside, we're always growing and expanding as human beings. So at some point, you're going to outgrow this task. You're just going to outgrow it, and it's going to become boring. It will no longer be complex. Your competency will go beyond that. So you're going to want to change, and that's a fact. And your art style will evolve. This is the thing about visual consistency. But on the other hand, why is it important? Again, to external audience, which we care about. We artists, we care about audience. Your soul wants to be seen. My soul wants to be seen. My art, I want it to be recognized. I want it to be used by people. I want people to enjoy it. I don't just want to create it in the privacy of my studio and no one sees it. I want people to enjoy my art. So in order for people to know what I offer and to like it and to resonate with it, they need to see the same thing many, many, many times. Meaning, yes, that's why branding works, right? That's why branding exists. Imagine Coca-Cola had a different bottle every single time, and let's not take Coca-Cola. I don't know, kombucha, whatever, like a beverage that you love, had a different bottle every single time, you would be annoyed, because you're like, it will take you so much energy to find your favorite beverage in 50 bottles that are standing in the fridge, right? Actually, so having consistency is an act of service to your audience in a way. So here's the caveat. This is interesting. Having visual consistency is important so that your art can be found and can be recognized. So that's one thing. The other thing is, you as an artist are always evolving and changing. So how do you balance the two? And what I'm kind of arriving at, and I'm in the same boat, like I really like to change and grow and always new things, However, I really do believe, like, people tell me that, I see your art and I know it's by you. And I honestly, like, if you saw the thumbnail of this live stream, it has 3 very different, what looks to me like very different pictures. But I guess if I step way back and look at all the art in the world, they kind of look, similar. Flat colors, solid outline, kawaii faces. And the thing is, especially if you are creating art by hand, there are imperfections. But even if you're not creating by hand, in the way that you do things, there are slight imperfections that are totally unique to you, like your handwriting. Nobody has your handwriting, right? So in that, your art is unique and in your style because you made it. This is the thing, you made it. Now, when you can type into Midjourney, AI, anything, and you'll get, a good looking image, a marketable, sellable image. There's a whole industry rising up with faceless YouTube channels, faceless shops, Etsy shops that are selling patterns created by AI. There are people teaching how to do that, If when you do it, there is no mistake that you did it. So if I step back from the body of work that I'm creating, I definitely see common trends, So maybe it's one thing about the balancing consistency with an external result. So and one of the things that I said in the comment, and like there are many star signs next to it, meaning like, so this is a statement that has so many caveats to it, like conditions or whatever, like I don't want it to be taken out of context. So consistency and creativity are actually, they are like forces that are pulling slightly in opposite directions, and I'll explain why that is. So consistency means doing the same thing all the time. Creativity means combining things in new ways. Okay, so creativity is where you grow and evolve as an artist. Consistency is how you are seen and recognized. So something that I have now arrived at is asking myself, how much consistency can I afford right now? Or how much consistency do I want to infuse into my work right now? Or like, let's say I'm doing like for example, for Kawaii Drawing Club, I want people to know what Kawaii Drawing Club is. So there's always that pink logo, the pink heart bubble, that's my brand symbol. There is always the text, the black text that's next to it, in always the same font, So those things I don't need to change. I don't want to change. Like, I've decided that the branding of the Kawaii Drawing Club and Tatyanadeniz as a brand stays. Okay? Now, my art pieces, I give myself way more openness there, way more flexibility in, like, when it comes to making art, I ask myself, what do I want to create? What do I want to convey? And I trust that the message and the feeling of the art will attract the right person that resonates. And sure, some pieces of art echo the same colors and style, but if tomorrow I wake up and I just really, really, really feel like doing a watercolor, I'm gonna do a watercolor. You know, I love watercolor. I love digital art. I love Posca pens. I love so many things, you know? And so that's my internal world. That's my internal growth, you know, my internal growth as an artist. And then there's the external, which is the marketing and the branding, and that's an act of service for the audience. So there's like another kind of thing to consider of like which things need to be consistent and which things don't need to be consistent. So that's when it comes to visual consistency. I realized there's actually so much more packed into it than... See, I'm still unpacking it. Because it is such a huge thing. So I wanted to also show you this quote. So this book is called Still Like an Artist by Austin Kleon. And I saw this and I was like, oh, I am not alone in this. So it's a picture where he says this one. So it says, don't worry about unity from piece to piece. What unifies all of your work is the fact that you made it. Don't worry about the unity from piece to piece. What unifies all of your work is the fact that you made it, you know, and you let your audience know you made it, and you put a story behind it of why you made it, what inspired you. You know, these are like, even when it comes to offering your products for sale, your content for sale, your services for sale, that heart-to-heart connection cannot be beaten, you know? So I'll wrap that here about visual consistency. So it's deciding which things need to be consistent and which things don't need to be consistent. And so usually in the point of decision, I also go out and I look at people, creators who are highly successful, meaning to the level that I aspire to be, right? Those who have walked ahead of me. What are they doing? Has anyone done this successfully to the level that I want to be doing it? And how, right? I go and I look at how they did it so that I can learn, you know? So one of the creators that I admire and follow closely is Kat Cogolet. She is in print on demand space. She creates a whole wide variety of styles, you know, watercolor, vector illustrations. She does like ethnic patterns, she does animals and all kinds of things. Like if you look at a range that she does, it's very, very wide stylistically. But what she does do is she works in collections. So she'll do like, sun patterns collection, and she'll do like 15 different things, you know, all related to this one thing. And then she'll advertise it and publish it for a while, for like 3 months. It's all about this one collection. And then moving on, it could be a completely different style. Now, the reason why I look at her as the creator that is doing it successfully is because she makes money selling products with her art, which is something to me is very, very desirable. This is my area of passion, creating art, creating really good art, the best that I can do, always growing, and creating the art that my soul, my human being wants to create and communicate, and then selling products with those items, with that art. And so something I learned in this journey is that I cannot just draw a cute character, slap it on a t-shirt, and off it goes. There are ways to make products sellable, and I honor that. I do not see that at all as impeding onto my creativity. It is simply showing me frameworks on how to reach the people with the art that I love and truly stand behind, but frameworks that make them reach the people and want to buy them, you know? So in POD, one of the, like when a person starts, like for a very beginner, one of the things like the measure of whether the design is good or not is, would I wear it? Would I wear it? And it's one of those things of like, on the one hand, you cannot, like, your audience is not you, okay? On the other hand, I don't want to be investing my soul energy into something that I really don't believe in. So it's actually both. It's like an overlap. So do I want to create this? Yes. Does somebody else want to wear it? Yes, based on my research. So, like, I'm a nerd when it comes to niche research and numbers and SEO and all that stuff. I love it. I actually love it because I see that as a leverage to know what people want to see. And then within that, I know the things that I want to share, okay? So, and I can tweak, like I can position what I create, not tweak, position in a way that speaks to the people that I aim to serve, you know? I do aim to serve, and not just in education aspect, but also in the product aspect. So, yeah. That's visual consistency. That's marketing, that's branding, that's all of that. I'm going off totally on a different outline than what I had originally prepared, which is funny. Hi, thank you for the comments. Awesome. The fact that this resonates with you, it just means the world to me. Yes. So, should we keep going down this route, or should I try to get back into my rails? Because it is such a big topic, you know? Okay, so here's the thing. In my previous live stream, I talked about the 5 things I wanted to say to my younger self. And one of the things was, don't try to be 40 before you're 40. You know, that's like, don't try to lock yourself into visual consistency until you know what you like. So now I am making art every day. And I started doing this privately. I didn't share it. I didn't feel that, well, first, I didn't have the processes, so we'll get into that. Second, I didn't feel like it was clear enough to communicate just yet. But what happened out of that process is that I started to notice the things that I like repeatedly. So I have a post on Pinterest, something like 40 kawaii faces or something like that. And I went far and wide and researched the faces and practiced and put them down. Now, when I create kawaii art, I use maybe 5 different faces over and over and over, because they literally convey the emotion that I want to convey right now. So do you see how it works? I went really wide, cast a huge net, and then learned and then narrowed it down to these 5 faces. And guess what? Now, when you see a kawaii character with one of these 5 faces that I draw in my own unique way, just like my handwriting, right? It will be a little bit imperfect. It's not a copy and paste. You're gonna know, oh, this is by Tatyanadeniz, you know? It's funny, I was Googling some patterns and this picture came up and I was like, oh, I love it. This is Google image search. And I look at it and it was actually from Cat Cogolette. It blew my mind because in the sea of all these results, it was not on the first page. It was like way down there. I still picked out the little, it's like the way that she does the shapes, the way that she combines the colors, the way that it just all worked. It was perfect for my opinion, right? So you see, I still recognized it, even though it was totally out of context. So yeah, that's how it works. You start to practice, you start to do the practice, and then you gain visual consistency out of that. And yes, we do want to lean into visual consistency. So one reason I said like is that the audience can find you. There is another very, very important reason for that. It actually saves you energy, it saves you time, and it saves you energy on decision. So decisions are very brain intensive activities. Making decisions is hard, it's exhausting. And if you're constantly having to make a decision of what brush am I going to use, what color, what style, what, and you're constantly trying to learn a new style, right? You are going to be producing artwork very, very slowly in the beginning. And this was the phase when I was making art and not sharing it with anyone, because I was just trying different things, and it was really slow, like really slow. Like one artwork a week was an achievement for me, it was just like massive learning curve. And then from that experience, I started to see the styles I like, the artists I admire, and starting to see parallels between the artists I admire, and thinking, okay, well, I could lift this, like I could apply this to me. I can see myself doing this consistently. You see, that's the thing. So my branding, for example, in that first, like when I first started posting, I literally used a different font in every Pinterest pin. I used to publish a new tutorial every day, create a pin for it, like a step-by-step, and then post it on Pinterest. And it was exhausting. It used to take me 2 hours to do one little thing. And it's because I just didn't like how it looked. I didn't like it. I didn't like it. But after trying like 20 different combinations, actually I did that for a year. So after doing it 50 times, I started to see, oh, actually, I like how this one looks. I started to pull down the things that I did like. I didn't want to keep experimenting. It was more like, I'm not happy with the outcome. I'm going to keep searching for a whole year. And now I have a template, now I have a template, and every time I look at it, I'm like, this is so pretty, and it's pretty to me personally. I like that it's very clean. There's nothing catching my eye. It's balanced. It's clear. So that what I just said to you is my own personal taste. But hopefully you watching this and seeing my pins on Pinterest align with my taste, because that's what it means to find your audience. You find people that resonate with you. You don't need to serve everyone. You only need to serve people who truly, genuinely align with you. So, and that's how it works. In the beginning, trying to arrive at consistency from day one is stressful, and you may start to feel resentment. Let's say you watched a business course that told you need to have a logo and a color palette. 100% true. Don't spend too much energy on it. Pick 3 colors, whatever. Pick an accent color and 2 like supporting colors, or not even, at least 1 accent color, and go with it. Like don't try to get it perfect at the start. Just go with it and know that it's going to change 500 million times before you settle on the exact hash code of the color that will become your brand color. And it will. It really, really will. And then it will feel so good. But you arrive there not through disciplined decision, but through genuine, I want to say alignment. Like it is alignment. I keep saying alignment. Through genuine love for that color, for that specific color, for that combination. And you see, I have a kawaii brand, right? My brand, tatyanadeniz, as of right now, is how to draw kawaii. It's an education brand in kawaii. And my brand colors are literally like white, black, and pink with just a touch of blue. Not exactly kawaii, like the classical. If you think kawaii, you're thinking a pastel rainbow. Well, I like it aesthetically, but it's just not me. Like, if I was doing pastel rainbows every single day and I lived in a pastel rainbow studio, it would drive me crazy. Because I actually like how bright colors look on black. I really like it, And so my flavor of kawaii is different. And I do create pastel art sometimes if what I want to communicate aligns with the pastel aesthetic. And sometimes I create graffiti grungy style art because that's what I want to communicate, you know? And sometimes it might be a lettering piece because that's what I want to communicate. But they will all have a certain proportion that I like to use, certain, like I like it really clean, and like to me, every mark on the canvas has to earn its right to be there. So when a drawing is not working, I start to take things away rather than trying to add more details, because I'm like, if it's not working, there's probably not a balance. So what is throwing off the balance? So start taking away things from the canvas until I reach back to the point of balance. And then I'm like, oh, well, this kind of looks plain now. Let me start adding things back in. But now I kind of add back in, but staying closer to the balance. And it's like that. It's in and out, in and out, in and out, until I reach a point, and this is from my art teacher. He says, the drawing is done when you step back from it and nothing there bothers you. This is how you know the artwork is done. So this is how you arrive at visual consistency over time after experimenting. And it's not a matter of how many months or how many years. It's a matter of how many pieces you create. And again, there's not a like, we've heard the thing about 10,000 hours, right? Maybe. But then Tim Ferriss has this thing that he says you can learn anything in 6 months, no matter how complex. Not 10,000 hours, you know, but by using deliberate practice and like learning techniques. So I really don't think it's about the number of hours or the number of pieces or the number of weeks and days. It's about your own internal experience of traveling through the different phases. And perhaps your speed might be different, you know? Like, we all may have a different speed of experiences. I feel that I'm pretty like, I like to go in really deep and then pull back. So I don't even know if my speed is fast or slow. Like, I don't know. But the point is, you get to a point where you know, you're like, okay, right, I love this pink. I really love this pink. I'm going to decide to keep it. And then I just went on this whole font research. I used this one font for 3 years, and I haven't fully liked it all the way. And now I found a font that I just love. Every time I see it, I feel happy. I'm telling you, a year of using a different font every week, and then 3 more years of using one font and still not quite liking it, and then 6 months of experimenting behind the scenes with a graphic designer, mind you, with different fonts, until finally landing on the one that I'm like, yes, I love you, you know, I love you font. So that's being 40, you know, it's a metaphor, right? Arriving at that place is like being 40. But how could I possibly arrive at it at the beginning of my journey, you know? How can I possibly put that pressure on myself to know before having all these experiences? So, yeah. And this kind of brings me to the point of art practice consistency, which is what Cynthia Dixon was asking at the Kawaii Drawing Club. She was talking about art practice consistency. She wants to do art more regularly. She wants to what she was asking is really, which habits can I apply in my life to make creating art almost effortless, part of my routine, and joyful, right? But she didn't know that she was asking that because I think she's already cracked it, actually. But and the point of asking that question, she was not at a place where she wanted to be. So art practice consistency is actually so much simpler. It's easy. Compared to visual consistency, it is so easy. Because all you've got to do is study habit formation and like how habits work. There is so much good information out there now on the internet, in the books. $20, Atomic Habits. I have it here. I have it right here. I have like 3 books there, and Atomic Habits is one of them. It's like my little shrine, you know. James Clear is the author, and he is so generous with sharing information. He goes on interviews. He has a newsletter where every week he sends you like a little tweak for his habit. He has the book. He goes on people's podcasts all the time. I don't know if he has his own podcast, but I listen to his interviews on YouTube, and they're usually like an hour, 2 hours long. And that constant like input of information into my mind is like constantly reminding me about how habits work. It's a science. It's not as undefined as picking the right font for your brand or picking the right art style, right? Meaning the right art style is the one that you love and you want to keep doing consistently. And then the people that love that same style will come to you. It's just how it works. And I think if you can decide on a certain art style in the very beginning and stick to it, awesome. Yes. If you start punishing yourself, like meaning criticizing yourself, if it drains you of energy, if it's stressful, then change, you know? If you feel bored, change. Like Alicia was saying earlier that what was it that you said? Something like, I struggle with staying, I struggle with doing the same thing over and over, but I also struggle with starting new things, right? So either way you go, you're gonna have a struggle. So pick the one that you want to have. And if you stay here, if you keep doing the same thing over and over and over against your call to grow, your struggle is of keeping yourself down, keeping yourself limited. If you choose the new thing to grow into gradually, then you choose the pain of expansion and doing the unknown, so either way, you think about, what experience do I want to have in life? What experience do I want to have? So James Clear, that I was telling you earlier, he has this concept of like, how do I want to spend my days? How do I want to have my business? How do I want to run my business? What do I want to do during the day? And then he literally had structured all of his practices around that. So it blew my mind, because he's a huge household name now. He has a book, he's been on TV, he's like everywhere, James Clear. And he said, listen, I don't like having a big company. It's just me and one VA. That's it. We are just that one small company, like 2 people. Whoa, I want that, Like, how cool. And he's showing that it's possible. So that's another example of someone who is achieving the results that I aspire to in a way that I aspire to. So Kat Cogolet is for the creative visual style results, and James Clear is for the art practice results and business. And so having good art practice habits is very formulaic. And this was such a topic on my mind that I was like, how could we not talked about this until now? Kawaii Drawing Club has been going for like almost 2.5 years now, and we haven't talked about art habits. Like, what? So last week we did like a whole live stream about like how to actually break down your habits, how to schedule them, sequence them, put them into your day, but I'm thinking like it is actually so important that it has to be at the core of everything we do at the Kawaii Drawing Club, because that's like the platform where I see you day to day. Like here on YouTube, I can sort of check in every once in a while in the videos in the community, but at the Kawaii Drawing Club we talk every day, so I can hold space for you and for myself to have consistent, good, productive art habits. So this has actually like shifted many things in my vision and understanding of like knowing how to better serve you, like how to serve you more potently, how to like, you know what makes me so happy is seeing when you break through to results that you want. You know, when like every month we do this roundup of the wins, like, oh, I published a book, oh, I got to 500 subscribers on YouTube, I did a drawing that I really love, you know. So when I see these things, I'm like, oh my gosh, like, yes, this is so satisfying that I want more of that. Like, this is how I want to spend my days. I want to create art. I want to hold space for myself. I want to hold space for you, you know, and like we actually do it for each other. This is the beautiful thing, is that the community itself nurtures all of us. So this is how I want to spend my days, making art and contributing any way that I can to your success. Just like you contribute to mine, you know, this is not like me, the guru on stage. No, you know, that's the thing. Like, I don't need to be. We as a community we are like a being in itself that actually rises everyone. It's so cool. So that's consistent art practice habits. Yeah. Let's see, what else? So when you do start to get to this place of that you're naturally finding things, repeated things that you like, and it's not about leaving it to chance and waiting for it to happen, you are actually searching for it. As you're doing art, you are searching for the things that you like. So you're constantly asking yourself, is this something I want to do consistently? You know, it's like a lens. Because you're mining for gold. You're mining for gold amongst all the ore that's out there. You know, you're sifting to find the gold that you want to keep and make it part of your brand. Yes, we still are working towards the brand and visual consistency, but you're going to arrive there to a place where you love it and you don't have to force yourself doing it. So you're constantly mining for these little things that you like. And then you start adding them to your art more and more and more. And so your art starts to look more and more cohesive, and more people come into your world. It's a natural process, you know, while always having a ticket in your pocket that says, it's like a free pass. If tomorrow I wake up and I truly, genuinely, like 100% want to try something new, I can use this ticket. There's no like thing that says I will never ever. No, you always have that ticket. So yeah, there's no anxiety, there's no stress. And when you get there, you know, every time you introduce one of these little elements into your tool belt, you actually unlock more energy, because that's one decision you don't need to make for that art piece. This is why we have templates. This is why we have playbooks and procedures and lists of things. And as a business owner, you know, and if you are an artist and a business owner or business around your art, then you do need to have all the processes and everything, especially if you have other people working with you. It has to be consistent. It has to be at that level of maturity, because it unlocks so much energy. It unlocks so much capacity by having decisions made ahead of time. So conclusion is that don't try to be 40 until you're 40. And so an example that I gave to Cynthia and the community was like, imagine somebody who's never done art before, and they see I don't know, who is like an artist that you really love. Like, I'm gonna, let's say, pick a candle. right? Because she's so like at the very early stages, she was like she blew up on social media and Instagram. So like I literally started there. I was like, I love her art, I want to do what she does, right? And I just kind of like practiced and practiced and practiced, and from then I was like, well, actually now I want to introduce my own stuff into it. I don't need to be Pete Candle. I need to be my own version of who I want to be using the skills. So here's my point. Imagine if somebody has never done art before, they do a workshop, they learn a certain technique, and then they decide that forever and ever they're going to be this artist. And if that's trying to be 40 before you're 40, before you know what you like, before you've experimented, and every time they have an urge to try something new, they're like, no, you're bad. Stick to your consistency, stick to your thing. That's an example of a sure way to burn out, because you cannot go against your own self. You cannot, what it is like. So here's the practical portion of this talk, is that you can give yourself a time frame, and you can say like, okay, for the next 3 months, and in fact that I advise to do that, for the next 3 months or the next 6 months, I'm going to draw in the style of Pete Candle. And that's literally what I did. And then after the 6 months, I was like, okay, great, I learned all these skills. What else could I try, right? Oh, I love Tokidoki. Why don't I try doing their style of illustration? And so on it goes. And this is how you grow. And from each experience, you extract the piece that works for you. That will be my advice. And that being said, if there is something that you see that you're like, I love this so much, and I just want to keep doing this, and even though down the line you're gonna change, but you don't know that yet. When you're at that point, you don't know that yet. Like, let's say you're totally new to this area of creativity and business and all of these things. It's like, if you truly feel like you want to do something, pick it. That's fine. Decide to be 40 before you're 40. If that's the thing that's going to get you into action, that's the thing. So we also do a lot of mindset work at the Kawaii Drawing Club using the model from Brooke Castillo, which is, the idea that, well, it's not an idea, it's a framework that your thoughts create your feelings create your actions, and your actions lead to results, right? It's like very, very simple. So pick the thoughts that create the actions that you want. If the thought is, I love Pete Candle, I want to be like her forever and ever, and if that's what gets you going, then do it. Ultimately, you can always change. Remember that free ticket, you have it, you can always change. But if you believe in it right now, then go for it. You will discover the truth as you are doing. You cannot discover the truth standing right here. You have to step into it, and then you can discover what you like. So, yeah. Talking about action. So this series has been 7 live streams, and I'm happy. I'm happy with this series. I'm happy with sharing all this stuff. And now I want to get to doing. My thought behind this was like, I wanted to share these things with the community outside of the Kawaii Drawing Club, because there we talk about this all the time. And I was just like overpouring. I was like, I want to take this further. So I talked to a friend and I was like, so how are the live streams for you? She's like, yeah, I'm really enjoying them, but I'm waiting for the punchline. And I said, yeah, me too. I'm waiting for the punchline, because there is no punchline. Like, it's genuine share. So now it's the time is to do. Like, we've reached the phase. I feel that I've reached the phase where I want to be doing more. So I am refocusing my energies into publishing content consistently. This is actually a really important point as well. So visual consistency comes with doing, but the doing has to be consistent. It's so important. In fact, if nothing else you take away from this, doing consistently is the most important thing. So creating art consistently, publishing art consistently, even if today's piece is totally different to yesterday's piece, it's fine, publish it. So my focus right now for I don't know how long, I don't even have a time frame. This is the thing I feel like I want to do forever and ever, which I know will change as I keep doing it, but right now I feel like it is publish content consistently, good content. You know, that's my focus. So I will be going live, just not as frequently, and I will be going live as I feel and I see the need to communicate something. Maybe it's teaching a skill, maybe it's conversation, like we'll see. But it's about taking action. So let's take this charge of inspiration and energy and insight and put it into action. Put it into action that matters, into consistent action. Yes. So I will have a look at the comments. And I really, from the bottom of my heart, from my whole heart, I thank you for being here, experiencing, commenting. I will, after the live stream, go and read every single comment, just so that you know. But if there's any like specific things you would like me to answer or address, put it in the comments now, because we're about to sign off. And in the meantime, I'm gonna look at what was here earlier. I love it. Okay, awesome. Thank you for your time and attention, and I will be seeing lots of you. You know, I'm around, I'm stepping out onto the stage. So keep creating, keep, stay beautiful, and I will see you very, very soon. Bye.